Hi, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, and I am so excited about what I'm getting to share with you today. If you get this right, if you really understand this concept and apply it faithfully in your life, I guarantee you your life will change. However, this is not something that we were taught or that will come to you in a blink of an eye. You're really going to have to be persistent with this particular way of thinking because it's completely alien to everything that you knew growing up, unless you grew up in a incredible society and household. But Mother God shared this with me, I think it was 2 years now, and it has made so much of a difference. But I tell you, this is so deeply ingrained in our society that even after practicing it for this long, I still catch myself beginning to focus on what's wrong. Now, when you catch yourself, you don't condemn, you congratulate. Hey, I get it. So before we really dive in, I want to ask you 2 questions. The first question is, thinking about the last couple of days, maybe the last week, what have you done wrong? Take a moment to see how quickly you were able to answer that question that I just asked you. What have you done wrong? Last couple of days, maybe the last week. Now, you've got the answer to that question. I want to ask you a new question. What have you done right? What have you done right last couple of days, perhaps over the last week? What have you done right? Take a moment to compare the two. How long did it take you to come up with what you'd done wrong? Probably a split second. And how long, if at all, did it take you to come up with something that you had done right? We are so focused as a society on what we've done wrong that I guarantee that most of you were able to tell me something you've done wrong, and maybe you stumbled when I asked you what you've done right. And that is why we don't want to fix what's wrong. But let's hear from our guides and get a complete explanation for why this is so important. As I said, it changed my life. But it isn't a quick fix. You're going to have to be really committed to this process because the habit is so deeply ingrained. So they begin. Dearest hearts, all of you are aware of the shift in energy, the move forward from a place of competition into a place of cooperation. However, for each one of you to successfully navigate this energy, you must put away old behaviors, especially those behaviors that were imposed upon you by a societal view that is no longer relevant. So right there, we need to understand just how much is changing. And don't put up any resistance to the change. To this end, we want you to stop focusing and fixating upon what's wrong. In the past, correction was done by pointing out the error of your ways. Your teachers marked up your papers in red ink, so you could clearly see everything you'd done wrong. Parents were quick to criticize and point out behavior, attitudes, and expressions that were considered unacceptable and not permitted within the family unit. And society is based on a set of laws which should not be broken at the threat of punishment. Let's look at that for a moment. When you are graded on your performance and the teacher hands you back the paper, they may put a percentage of things that were right, but often they'll put -5 with a big circle, generally in red ink, and those may be all of the problems that you got wrong. Or they'll put next to the problem how many points they're taking away for not doing it correctly. Always focusing on what you did wrong. Now, I have a wonderful story about how focusing on what you do right will change your life. I'm going to share that with you in a few minutes. However, this form of conduct cannot bring forth individuals committed to the greater good. It merely enslaves all to avoidance. Whoa. Wow. Take a minute to really absorb that. In other words, we as a society are not looking for what we can do to enhance the journey of ourselves and others. We're looking to avoid the punishment. Instead of pursuing what's right, you avoid what's wrong and therefore keep yourself in a state of suspended animation, seeking to avoid punishment rather than pursuing that which will move you ahead and usher the greatest good for all into manifestation. This is so powerful. Get used to saying to yourself, what's right about what I am doing, instead of looking at what's wrong and saying, I need to avoid that in the future. We ask that you seek looking at and trying to correct anything you perceive to be wrong. Those of you who have studied the law of attraction know that you receive more of what you focus on. Therefore, when you misguidedly try to correct your path by focusing on what's wrong, you redouble your efforts to do less of the wrong. Unfortunately, you will never be able to discover the right path by making a careful study of the wrong one. You will merely find more wrong paths to study. Let's look at that. When you focus on what you are doing wrong, you are activating law of attraction to bring you more that needs to be corrected. You are not saying, you believe you're saying, but you are not. You are not saying, give me more that is right. You are saying, give me more that is wrong because all of my attention is focused on what's wrong. If you are careful, you may be able to hold yourself at a standstill while you look at what's wrong. But most likely, the frustration of not moving in any direction will propel you to take off down the wrong path, believing you can make it turn out right. Often telling yourselves, I just have to get moving. How many times have we all done this? We're at a standstill. We're focused on everything we've done wrong up to this point. We're trying to figure out how to turn it around, and we get so frustrated and anxious that we just say, okay, I'm just going to do anything. Anything is better than nothing. And then, of course, because all we've been focusing on is what's wrong, we end up doing more that's wrong. And then the big battle. You're so stupid. What were you thinking? Oh my gosh, you're a dummy. You do everything wrong. This continues to be your conversation. And then we try to ask ourselves, well, why isn't anything going right? Because we're not allowing it. When you find yourself again on the wrong path, you'll most likely recommit to studying what went wrong, while you try to prevent yourself from slipping further into the wrongness. Not going to work. Today, commit to the study and the pursuit of only that which is right, that which feels good and allows you to stay in a place of love, joy, and peace. Abandon what went wrong. Cease to ponder why. Stop dissecting every failure and crying over every missed opportunity. I used to be the supreme scientist of dissection. Every failure was examined under the microscope of criticism, over and over and over again, as I didn't want to make that same mistake again. But my focus was on the mistake, and so I did make mistakes again and again and again. Instead, dedicate yourselves to all that's going right. We implore you to ignore what's wrong. Act as if it doesn't exist. Pretend that it didn't happen and be firm in your commitment to analyzing and pursuing everything that you did, thought, and felt, and said that was right. Within every element of mistake, of what went wrong, there will always be elements of success, of things you did perfectly. Focus on that. Focus on all you did well and commit to doing it even better. Now, when I first got a hold of this, I was petrified. I was sure that if I didn't look at what I was doing wrong, that I had no choice but to do it again, that I was going to keep repeating it. And it took a supreme act of will to get me to focus on what was right. But as I mentioned, I'm going to show you how this works a little bit later on in a story with children that I was teaching. You don't need to analyze what you did wrong. I promise you it will fall away when you fill your mind and your heart with everything that feels good that you're doing right. When you change your perspective from what did I do wrong to let me concentrate on and fully embrace all that I did right, you change the energetic resonance you offer to the universe. No matter what energy you're choosing to send out, you will always receive more of the same in return. You will receive more to feel bad about if you're feeling bad, and you'll receive more to feel happy and joyful about if you're feeling happy and joyful. You must always remember your role. You are not here as victims, people to whom things just happen. Please get a hold of that. No one is doing anything to you. You are doing it to yourself. And as hard and as cruel as that may sound if you are still in victim mode, please understand what I'm giving you when I say that. I am giving you the power to change your life. I am giving you freedom because we're here as creators, not supreme creators, but co-creators with the divine, capable of ordering the universe with your thoughts. When you change your thoughts, when you clear the heart of limiting beliefs, you will change your outer reality. This is not a responsibility that you can relegate to another person. Each of you are responsible for the vibration that you create and send forth. You are therefore responsible for what you receive. Now, you may say, yes, but I need help. Perfectly okay. You can get a teacher, a coach, a mentor, whatever you want to call it, to help you learn how to do this correctly and easily. But even if you were to have a teacher or a coach or a mentor, they cannot do the thinking for you. So you will still be responsible for taking the action. They can merely guide you. And if you're really lost, yes, do get a coach, a mentor, a teacher. The way you create an energetic vibration is through the mind, with your thoughts, and through the heart, with your feelings. Now, very important, the heart is the superior channel. It's not the mind. The mind does not have sufficient power to overrule the heart. In other words, if you're spouting affirmations while harboring secret feelings of unworth, you will receive circumstances that will make you feel unworthy no matter how many affirmations you repeat. Get into the heart first. Do the healing work, clearing and healing. In order for energy work to be successful, you must establish heart-mind agreement. The heart must be cleared of all negativity and limiting beliefs if the affirmations are to be effective. If you're using affirmations and you're seeing no change, check in with the heart. Something is blocking. Likewise, when you say, I want this, but you're focused on why you don't have that, you'll never manifest your desire. Throw away the part of you that feels wrong, off, not good enough, etc., and fall in love with whatever part of you feels right. By amplifying the part of you that's getting it right, by focusing on the part you love instead of the part you hate, you automatically bring that part forward and attract even more to love into your life. Many of you fear that by focusing on what's wrong, by focusing on what's right, the wrong will keep happening. Right? After all, if you're not correcting what's wrong, how will you ever be able to get it right? We remind you that fear is the master of illusion. Fear pulls your attention away from everything you're doing right and focuses it on all you're doing wrong. Law of attraction says you get what you focus on. So stop trying to fix what's wrong. Instead, give all of your time and attention to what you did right. As you begin magnifying the right, repeating the right actions, focusing on right thoughts, doing the right things, that which was wrong will become starved for attention. When the wrong is no longer being fed, it will begin to fade. Remember, it's fear-based, and fear-based is illusion, so it has no life of its own to sustain itself. It will cease to exist, and all those right things you've been doing will bear fruit and become more magnificent as you attract more and more that's right. Your life then becomes a symphony, a harmony of right thought, right feeling, and right action. And that does not mean goody two-shoes. That means choosing thoughts that feel good to you, that move you ahead, that focus on your dreams. Choosing to feel good about yourself. Choosing to do the things that will move you forward. This is not about being a goody-good. This is about doing that which is good for you. You will automatically make corrections as needed as you pursue more of what's right and what feels good. Success is given to those that amplify what's working and what's right, but it's denied to those that grovel in their mistakes and pick them apart. And please, as I told you, used to be the senior scientist in dissecting mistakes, and my life was a mess. Please stop dissecting the mistake. Lovingly embrace any negative thought and send it away. Then joyfully embrace every positive thought and hold it in your heart. Dote upon that thought. Expand upon it. Praise it and devote your life to its well-being. Nurture that right, good feeling. Success is found in the pursuit of what's right, while failure follows in the footsteps of what's wrong. I want every single one of you to be successful. Please begin today to focus on what's right. Now, when I began the call, I immediately asked you, what'd you do wrong? And I asked you, what have you done right? I guarantee you it took you aback, it took you a minute, and perhaps you couldn't even find the thing that you were doing right. That's okay. We've been trained that way. Just begin today. We can't ignore the law of attraction. Actually, we can, but it's not going to prevent it from affecting us or our loved ones. So instead of trying to use the avoidance behavior, let's commit to supporting ourselves and others in the complete understanding and use of the law. And very briefly, let's go over the law. Like attracts like. That means positive attracts positive, but negative attracts negative. The law has no creative power. It's not bigger, badder, or more brilliant than you. It can't create something on its own or opposite to the vibration that you're sending out. It cannot take and is not responsible for, it cannot create its own and is not responsible for your vibrational frequency. So it can't become something different from what is coming from you. So therefore, it can't be blamed. It can and will bring you more of what you're putting forth into the universe. It doesn't stop working just because you're having a bad day. So, no beating yourself up if you are having a tough day. But do recognize, hey, I'm not sure I like what I'm putting out there. This is not feeling good. And do your best to get over into a place that feels good to you as quickly as possible. So to use the law effectively, begin asking yourself, what did I do right? When did I feel my best? What brought me joy? What do I want more of? If you can continue asking yourself questions like these and others, you'll automatically get in this great habit. But remember, this is training. You've got to train yourself to focus on everything that's going well, that is in that zone feeling of rightness and good, to the exclusion of all else. And I do mean exclusion. Just forget you ever made a mistake. What we focus on grows, and we need to grow our right muscle, our wrong muscle has been strengthened with the help of parents and family, teachers and society. Now we need to grow our right muscle. So you got to be disciplined. You've been trained, we've all been trained to pick apart the mistakes, but stay on that high road, which is the success road, and stay fully present and focused on all you're doing that's supporting you in moving forward. Failures are not going to move us forward when we look at what went wrong. They hold us hostage and keep us stuck. We want to keep going over it again and again and again. So pick out only the parts that went right. Analyze them. Look at what you did to make it happen. Really pay attention to all that you're doing that's great. When you catch yourself looking at your mistakes, don't criticize. Don't get into that blame, shame, guilt game. I've been there. I can tell you it doesn't work. Immediately congratulate yourself for recognizing the behavior. Please understand the magnitude of recognizing when you're on the wrong road. If you don't do anything but say, whoa, how'd I get here? It is magnificent. It is magnificent. Then gently move yourself over to the right place. Flip the switch into the what's right category and do your best to stay there. Be alert, though this is really, pay attention. There's no way to do this and not be present in this moment. Also, watch your self-talk and the story that you're sharing with people. That self-talk is not just a conversation between you and you. It is you and the universe stimulating and activating the whole law of attraction. So, you don't want to just blurt it all out there. Oh, you're so stupid. Look, you made a mistake again. No, please no. Stop telling that story. Do not, when you're in a conversation with other people, tell about your mishaps, the things you did wrong. I used to be very self-deprecating. Oh, I'm nothing. You're so wonderful. You can tell people they're wonderful without cutting yourself down. You can say, I made a silly mistake, but I'm so grateful I caught it. I'm so proud of myself. I'm just delighted with who I'm becoming. That's okay. But no big, long story about how you did it wrong. We don't want to know what you did wrong. We want to know what you did right. What you're proud of within yourself, your accomplishments and how they're making you feel. That you're delighted, honored, and blessed to be you. And then encourage other people. Be quick to point out what they're doing right. The more you point out what other people are doing right, the more it reinforces your ability to see what you're doing right within yourself. So we want to make success easy for ourselves and help other people experience easy success. So take that honest look at yourself. Be excited about everything that you're doing right. But do examine, are you self-critical or critical of others? If that's true, if you find that you are being critical, there's a belief system that needs to be cleared there. Criticism comes from an unhealed part of us. When you can change it to being genuinely happy for yourself and other people, then you know you've cleared that out. So once you've released the negativity and you offer it love and compassion, understanding, no judgment or criticism, just, wow, I get it. I created this when I was in a different place, but I'm not there now. And I no longer need this. I can let you go lovingly. Thank you for being there when I did need you, but you're free to go. And then immediately focus on the incredibly fabulous step you have just taken. And keep the focus on the accomplishments and off of the faults. We receive what we believe in proportion to our perceived value. So if you keep thinking of yourself as a loser, very little of value is going to be able to get to you. I want you to think of yourselves as perfect because you are. I want you to think of yourselves as magnificent because you are. And I want you to think of yourselves as capable of great things because you are. If you want to receive more abundance in every area of your life, health, wealth, loving relationships, success in the job market, just general well-being, you must remember to focus on everything you're doing right and establish value within yourself. Own it. You are valuable. Every single one of you on this call is beyond valuable. You just haven't been taught how to see it. Don't try to escape a bad attitude immediately. First, embrace it, and as quickly as you can, move over into a loving, positive, and powerful attitude. It took me 20 years of growth to understand the magnificence of this attitude, and even with that, Mother had to correct me about 2 years ago because I still wasn't applying this. So, it's not going to take you 20 years, but do expect that you're going to catch yourself a couple of times off in the woods. That's okay. 20 years of allowing my frustrations, failures, and fears to define me. And they did not define me. Oh, you are so wonderful. That was not my self-talk. 20 years when I presented my smallest self instead of my biggest self. We're in this beautiful, fresh, new energy. We are being asked to bring it on. Bring on the A game. And we have support that we have never had before. Step it up. You are safe. You are loved. You are perfect. You are capable. You are magnificent. The only thing is that you may not have been taught how to look at what you're doing right. But you are more than enough, and you can easily get a hold of this thought. Now, I am grateful for every moment of those years. They gave me such wisdom and experience to draw upon so that when people come to me for help, I get where they are and I can lead them out of that forest. So I am deeply grateful. It's more than 20 years, actually. I'm so deeply grateful for that period of time. But I'm ecstatic about not being there anymore. I'm so thrilled that that's not me, that that's not where I live, that's not who I am anymore. So sure, where I was before is helping tremendously in the work that I'm doing now. But where I am now is allowing me to help others move into their powerful place. See, I wasn't helping anybody, not even myself. I was learning, wasn't helping anybody. Well, I was over there playing small, being afraid, believing the illusion, and telling myself all sorts of lies. I was trying hard, but I really wasn't helping anybody. Now, I can help and am helping a lot of people, and it feels so good because not only am I helping you, I'm continuously helping myself as I grow and evolve. And that's what I want for you, to help yourself and to help others as you're guided. Now, I need to share this story with you, and then I want to hear your concerns about this concept, because it didn't come easily to me, and you may have some questions that I haven't addressed just because of the way that we all grew up. I was really scared not to look at what I was doing wrong. But back when I was teaching, and we're going back, like 30 years now, back when I was teaching, I didn't have all of these concepts. But I had a really big heart for the kids that were being judged, mistreated, just nobody wanted to work with them because they didn't get it easily. Those were the kids that felt best to me. I really resonated with them. Even though I hadn't had a lot of trouble in school, I really worked hard at it, and I never really felt successful. So I could really, really resonate with these kids. But you got to remember, I was still fixing what's wrong. I was still concentrating on what was wrong. And I had not embraced this spiritual side of me. Even though it was active, I didn't know what I was doing. I would just get moments of inspiration and could do these writings, but didn't understand any of this. But when I was teaching, first I had a group of third graders, and I've shared that story so much, I'm not going to share that one again. But they put me on the road. They showed me that if I allowed them to do their paper over and over again with as much help as they needed until they got every single part of the paper correct, and I put 100 on their paper, they would lose the fear of not being able to be good enough to understand the work. As they began to lose the fear, they became more and more able to listen to what I was presenting, what I was teaching, and to learn. And pretty soon, the time between when we did the paper initially and when they got 100 began to grow smaller and smaller. But actually there are two stories. Here are two stories that happened when I was teaching second grade. This was a regular class. In this particular instance, it was not a class where I pulled the children out for special teaching. That was my first introduction to this concept, which was divine guidance. I didn't understand it at the time. Looking back, never would have come up with it. Never. So in second grade, I have children who are across the board. It is a class probably balanced a little bit more to the weaker students just because they knew that I liked to work with those students. But I had a pretty good cross-section. Some children were quite bright and very good at learning, and others were quite challenged by learning. So in this class, I had some children who were reading way above grade level and other children who were not reading at all. They were in second grade. We are taught the basics of reading. We begin in kindergarten. Well, probably earlier now, but we begin in kindergarten recognizing the letters and then the sound that the letters make. So we begin understanding the relationship. And then we introduce them to simple words so they see how letters and the sounds these letters make can work together. And they have a whole year of reading in first grade. That's all you really do is concentrate on those reading and beginning math skills. Really focusing on getting what they call a sight vocabulary, a sight reading vocabulary, so that words that you have memorized, because the brain is very capable of memorizing, words that you don't ever have to sound out because you've seen them so many times, you automatically know what this word says and what it means. And they're all the easy words. We all know them. Things like and, me, the, things that you'll see repeated over and over and over again. And of course, the bigger your sight reading vocabulary, the easier it is because you don't have to stop and sound words out. Well, here I am with my second graders, and I realize 12 of these kids can't read. They barely have a sight vocabulary. Barely. And the are huge for them. I'm thinking to myself, whoa, this is not good. No way you're getting to third grade if you can't read, at least on a first grade level. So what am I going to do? I got to get these kids reading. Again, divine inspiration. I looked at the second grade reading books and I thought, you got to be kidding. We would be here working on one sentence for the entire reading period. So I just thought, or was given the direction by the divine, put away those reading books. They don't need them right now. Started creating, and this is so long ago, I would write by hand, no computer, write by hand little reading books for them. So simple that I was almost concerned that I would embarrass them because they were so simple. But it was not filled with sight reading vocabulary. It was filled with word families. I gave them the word at. We practiced pronouncing it at, over and over again so that there would be no stumbling. They would have that word at their fingertips. But here's the marvelous thing. That little tiny word becomes a whole book full of words. Because at becomes cat, bat, fat, sat, that, mat, brat, on and on and on and on. I can't even think anymore how many words were in that book. So suddenly children who couldn't read anything were able to read a whole book. They were able to read it through smoothly, easily, without stumbling. So what happened? I took children who were petrified by the illusion of I can't read and all the words are going to be too hard. And by creating a tiny little word and expanding upon that word, they suddenly were able to read a whole book from start to finish. and it changed their relationship with reading. Instead of being afraid they couldn't do it, it had been proven to them they could do it. And every day in our reading period, we would choose a new word. If we had finished the book from the day before, we would choose a new little word, like it, which becomes sit and bit and pit and, it goes on forever. Every day we had a new little word that was going to be expanded upon. So every day they read a whole book. Every day they got to see themselves as successful. They believed they could read. And in 6 months, they were not reading at a first grade level. I'm going to cry. They were reading at a second grade level. They were back in their readers, reading on a second grade level. I am so grateful for that time. I didn't know what I was doing, but God found a way to talk to me and show me. These kids have been beaten down with failure. They believe they're failures. That's all they've ever known. As soon as they began to realize they were going to be successful, the fear dropped away. We never looked at what they were doing wrong. We just threw it away. The books were put away, and out came books that they could do right. Well, we are natural learners, all of us. We are here to grow and evolve. So the brain gets excited when it gets new information. And it grows it, and it grows it, and it grows it. They didn't learn enough words to read on the second grade level. They learned not to be afraid so that when they approached a new word, they just looked at it, sounded it out, compared it to something they knew, and they were reading. Not overnight. It took us about half a semester, half the year. But they did it because we didn't focus on, oh no, you said that wrong. You're such a slow reader, you're stumbling. Stop stumbling. No. Look what you can do. Now in that same class, I had a little girl, very highly educated parents. She was Polish from Slovenia, I believe. And she was a refugee. Her mother was, I believe, a psychiatrist at a very prominent hospital. Very well-educated parents. Refugees from the war. She was badly traumatized. Nothing wrong with her brain. Brilliant little girl. But for whatever reason, that trauma that she had experienced got fastened together in her mind with math. So whenever I would tell them, okay guys, it's time for math, tears would start forming in her eyes. Sometimes they would roll down her cheeks. I would go over and, of course, give her a hug and tell her how great she was and how much I loved her and, on and on and on. But still, probably for the first 3 months, maybe 4 months of second grade, the tears would roll every time I said it was time for math. But you see, I had learned from these third grade children that the fear of failing was going to prevent them from learning anything. So I knew enough from them to take away the possibility that you could ever fail at anything in my classroom. And so we would do the math, sometimes on the board, sometimes with, blocks and sticks and things like that. And then generally there was a worksheet or a workbook assignment or something so that the purpose was just to make sure you understood what we had just learned together in class. Now, of course, I needed to look at the workbook answers they had given and the worksheet to make sure that they were getting it right. Now, guess what? Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they got it wrong. But I was so blessed, even though I wasn't applying this in my own life at the time, I was so blessed by this divine connection that I didn't realize that I had. That we would sit together, we would just erase the ones that were wrong. We didn't want to look at them. And together, we would do the problem again. I would be asking them questions to help them find the right answer. Because we had a policy. No paper can leave this room without a 100% on it. Because if I send you home with a paper that is less than 100%, I haven't done my job. I haven't taught you. It's my responsibility to teach you in a way you can learn, not your responsibility to try to learn in the way that I'm teaching. Now, if you won't put the effort in, that's on you. But if you are willing and you are trying and you are actively involved in the process, then it is my responsibility as teacher to work with you until you have understood the concept that I presented. Therefore, no paper could leave the room without 100 unless the child refused to do the work with me, and they never did. They gave up snack. I would let them eat their snack, of course, while we're working together, but, that break period where they could just be silly, they would give that up. They would give up recess. They would give up anything to get the 100. And as we moved together, always focusing on what they did right, they got more and more of the answers right more quickly. Because even the ones that were challenged mentally were capable of learning. The only thing really standing in the way was the fear that they were not. Once the fear was gone and they could really concentrate on what was being presented, they were all bright enough to pick it up. Some, it took a little longer because they didn't have as much brain power. But everybody was capable. Even the slowest one was capable of getting it, as long as there was no fear that there would be repercussions, that they would be made to feel bad. That's the way I tell you, and I promise you. Avoiding looking at what went wrong will not cause you to repeat that mistake. Because as you magnify what you are doing right, you will automatically step up your game. You will see connections, make conclusions that were denied you before. You will absolutely level up by looking at what you are doing right, of feeling what it feels like when you're getting it right. There is no possibility that you will make a bunch of mistakes when you are concentrating on what you're doing right. You will have moments when you're off kilter. That's okay. Just get back to that place where it feels good. Pretend that you're one of my 8-year-old students and you see 100 on your paper and your being lights up. And then I'm there hugging you and telling you how magnificent you are. They knew it. They felt it, and they earned those hundreds. They weren't given away. They earned them. They did the work until it was 100%. And they knew that work. They knew it. And they went on to pass their end of grade test. The little one that cried in the beginning got a 100% on her standardized test that was put out by the state and graded by a third party. I didn't touch it. She got a 100% on it. She was so used to getting it right. And when you become that used to getting it right, you don't want that icky feeling of wrong. And when it comes, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I need to fix this. I need to course correct back into that good feeling place, that place of rightness. That's where I belong. I'm a champion. I'm a success. I'm worth it. I'm valuable. That's what I want you to say to yourself. So now, if anybody has a question or has an example of something that they feel is just not working for them for whatever reason, please bring it forward. We're not going to examine what's wrong. We're going to help you look at what you're doing right so you can do more of it. But you will never be not mocked or criticized because you didn't understand. We're just going to help you understand so you can get more of it right. *2 to raise your hand if you have a question or a concern about something that you just feel like, hey, it's not going so great. Tina, I see your hand is raised. What?
Hello.
Hi, honey.
Hi, everybody. I love what you say. You know, you're my teacher. You're so amazing, Marcia. I just, for the last 2 years that you've been working with me, I think it's 2 or 3. To me, I feel it's been amazing. But I just feel like you've been such an amazing patient angel because, I keep going backwards and it's funny, I just had got an epiphany, I think, with what you were saying. The funny thing is that being, like you're saying, we're amazing manifestors. And with mine is, I think before my awakening, I remember I was always determined whenever I needed something or wanted something, I was determined to get that, and it would happen. Now that I came into my awakening, and the thing is that I manifest it for people. I think because I always saw the good, and I always told people, yeah, it's going to happen for you. I always had the positive, and everything happened for them. But it didn't happen for me after I had my awakening because I had a hard time, and because like you say, we beat ourselves up. And me, I think with my not feeling inadequate, I felt like I wasn't worthy. And I think now, and I think I just got it. It always gets it like in 2 days, maybe. I hope I got it. But
you got it. We're no more way. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
I love you, but you got it.
It's funny because I am since the last time I talked to you, I was saying, okay, what does she mean? Am I not getting it? Then I finally said, okay, stay in love, peace, and joy. It's like, how do you do all that? But you do. You have to be determined to do that for yourself, love, peace, and joy. Although you spread, everybody on the call, I know that they have that compassion and love for everybody, but we don't do it for ourselves. So I'm saying for myself, I'm learning to just really stay in the love, peace, and joy, and knowing that nothing's going to hurt me. I think because being an empath, we think okay, oh, I got attacked, but no, we don't. What it is, yeah, we take on someone's feeling, and that's what I just got an epiphany right now. I was taking on other people's feelings thinking, oh, they're being mean, but no, what it was is they're not feeling good, so yeah, put pink blankets on them. So not really. People that are being angry were not throwing it at me. They're just angry, and I was thinking, oh, they're using something to throw at me, and I just think I just got it right now. They weren't doing anything to me. So
hallelujah. Exactly.
I just got it.
Exactly.
Just right now.
They're just throwing it. They're throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You're walking around with sticky tape on you saying, I will attract all negativity for everybody.
Yeah.
That's my job. We're just giving you a new job.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the peace, love, and joy angel and throw out positive vibes for everyone. And you can keep throwing your negativity, but I'm going to throw like confetti, I'm going to throw my beautiful energy, and yours can just lay there. I'm not going to interact with it.
Yeah. And I barely got it right now because I was like, because I always pray for everybody. I always try to send good, love to them. First to me, because I got to stay healthy, make my glass filled first as love, and then you could pour it out to them. And then I thought, how do you do that? Because I keep attracting garbage, and then, but I was thinking that garbage, so that's why it kept coming to me. Now that I started thinking positive, it's not hitting me anymore as much. Oh my gosh, I can sit down, and if someone comes by, if I'm not well protected, and the thing is, I totally get what you were saying. I was being lazy because I was thinking, you were saying, remove yourself, go to the bathroom, just to say you're washing your hands. I totally agree what you say. Yeah, we have to do that, because if we don't, we do get hit, and it's our own fault, because we know better, and I'm learning that. And I was like, how is that my fault? How could I have done that? I'm just sitting here being myself. But you're right, Marcia, and it's taking ownership. And I think, I'm the big ownership of everything. I try to take it because I don't want to throw it on anybody, because I know how it feels on me. So I just want to say you're so amazing.
I love you, but remember, we can take ownership of our greatness and of all the beautiful things that we are, but we cannot take ownership of anyone else's problem, because we have no way to fix that for them.
Yeah.
It's theirs. It's not ours, not being mean. But when we devote ourselves to being in this place of love, I loved those children in my classroom. I didn't understand any of it. I just loved them. They knew they were loved, and they knew I believed in them, and that was enough to let them believe in themselves. And that opened the doorway for them to walk through. We can't push people through. We can merely open the doorway and stay in our beautiful place of love, joy, and peace, and invite everyone to join us there.
Yeah. You're right. And I know, like you say, we have our slip-ups, and I think now I can say, all right, it's going to be all right. If I do have a bad day where if I don't remember something, I don't beat myself up anymore. I used to sit with it for a month. Now I just sit with it for 5 minutes and then recuperate from it.
Good.
And I love what you say,
Now 5 minutes? Great. We're going for 1 second. Wow, look at me. Oh, congratulations. I got it. I saw myself so proud of myself. Grow away. I was the queen of this, so I understand. It is going to take discipline. This is not the way we grew up. And it's going to be touch and go. But you know what? Stay in the right lane. Look at me, how great I am, how wonderful, how wonderful. It will fall away. I promise you it will fall away.
Yeah, you're right. And And then it's just staying positive and staying, and really, like you say, disciplined. And I wasn't disciplined. And like you say, I wasn't trained to do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, now it's like really be disciplined on what you do. And I just thought it was just being pure I was being lazy because I was like, oh, this can't be happening. Oh no, I don't believe this. But now that I see it, I'm like, okay, I have to really, okay, did you shield yourself? And if you didn't do that, re-shield yourself. Sit with yourself, meditate. And I don't got the meditation yet, but I understand sitting. But I eventually will get the meditation. But at least I got
You're going to get everything as long as you concentrate on what you're doing right. Just like little guys, and we're over the time. Oh goodness, they're doing construction next door. But their lunch hour stopped, so here come the noise. As long as you concentrate on what you're doing right. Remember those little guys? They got the joy of reading a book from start to finish. Little tiny, silly book. And it propelled them so far forward. They were reading then second grade vocabulary, which is a really big leap from to second grade vocabulary. We don't need to progress always inch by inch. Sometimes we can leap, but you have to get rid of the fear that you're not going to get it before you can make the leap.
Yeah. And I want to thank you because I got my voice. I could never talk. I remember I had such a fear. What were people going to think of me if I had something really up on top of my head? What were they judging? And I think that's where I came from. And now, can you tell I talk to you more on the phone with people around? I could never do that. And I was like, what? I will never see the people, and, they're either going to like me or don't, but it's all right. Because as long as I love myself and as long as I'm throwing out good vibes to them, you know what? What's there to hate? But, and even if they have that judgment, it's all right because you know where you stand now. And I think that's where I'm at. I don't have that fear where people are going to judge me and hurt me. And I think that's what I was afraid of, being hurt. I don't want people to hurt me. But now it's like, okay, if you have something not nice, it's all right. I'll take it as a compliment and just go on my way and not carry that burden anymore. And I carried all those burdens. And now it's like I have a voice. I feel like I could talk in front of people. I always had a fear of talking to anybody. All I could say is, have a good day and you're beautiful. And I meant that from the bottom of my heart. But when they started wanting to get deeper into conversation, I would just shut down. And now it's like I totally embrace it more. Embrace talking on the phone with you and everybody around. I could never do that. But you got me out of my shell, Marcy. Thank you. You've done a lot. You did it. I'm a walking miracle. I'm a walking miracle because of you. You have done an amazing job.
You're a miracle because of you. You're a beautiful heart. Now, oh my gosh, we're way over time.
Okay.
So I love you.
I love you.
Everyone who was on the call, thank you for being here. Please focus on what's going right. If you need help, reach out to me. I work with people on an individual basis. I'm going to be putting together some groups at some point and classes. So we have just go on the website, Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. Oh, forgot to tell you, we've got a class coming up on procrastination. Really had to dig deep for this one. This one took me a while to get all the information for and to bring my portion to it. But very excited about this class. So it will not be this weekend, but the following weekend, keep on the alert. How to stop procrastination. Really powerful. When I tell you what I uncovered in my own life, oh my gosh, I was shocked. So, Marcia, M-A-R-C-I-A, at marciamartinthehearthealer.com. If you want to send me an email asking for help or give a complimentary consultation, check out the classes, marciamartinthehearthealer.com. I am almost certain that there is a class that will help you. They are all, we've already presented the class, it's been recorded, you get it immediately, you don't have to wait. But please join us on our live class about procrastination. It is a mind blower. I love what they shared with me and what I was able to bring to this class as well. So very excited to share that. And as always, this call will be uploaded on YouTube, MarciaMartinTheHeartHealer.com. Like and subscribe, share this with others. And until next Wednesday, I'm sending you all my love.